everybody. First of all, excuse me. I have had laryngitis, so it takes a lot for me to speak and push the air through right now. So excuse my raspy voice, but I wanted to do a video to show you some things for a few different reasons. I'm here, so I'm an encaustic artist, and if you've never heard that word before, encaustic is a heated wax medium. Encaustic is a Greek word that means to burn. So everything that you do with the encaustic media is in a molten state. So I'm going to show you this. See this? This is my griddle. Yes, it's a pancake griddle. So that melts my wax, and I'm going to pick this up and show you. This is a little aluminum bread pan that my medium is melted in. It's completely liquefied. So everything I use is heated, and it is in a molten state. This is a super, super fun, explorative, exciting media. If you don't consider yourself an artist, which I believe everybody is creative, however that means, if you want to think about it non-traditionally, it means that you might create a beautiful meal in the kitchen, or you might create a beautiful organized space in your closet that used to be chaotic. I think creativity means bringing order to things that have been chaotic. And we all have the capacity for that. We all, as humans, have creative abilities. So I'm here to assist that exploration, whatever that looks like for you. What I have found with encaustic is that everybody has a level of success. So I'll teach you something, you walk away with something that you have enjoyed making that feels successful. You don't have to know how to paint, you don't have to know how to draw. The only thing that is required is curiosity and a desire or an ability to know what you like in a composition, like what makes a good composition. And those are easy to learn. And I think most humans have in their mind, like, what looks good, as you arrange different elements on a page, what looks good compositionally. We kind of have the knack, and we can learn technical skills around that, but that's what makes this medium so exciting to me, because everybody can walk away with some success. And if you're feeling a little bit like you don't know if you have a creative voice, you maybe don't even know what that voice sounds like, this is a good way to begin, because it's friendly. It's just really putting elements down on a page the way that you like and the way that you're drawn to. So it's a great explorative medium. Anyway, all that to say is I wanted to show you a little bit about encaustic if you don't know about it, and if you do know about it, I wanted to show you some things that I know about it. And also I wanted to give you a sneak peek. So I've been doing subscription boxes based around my book called Waking Up Gray, An Exploration of Creative Awakening. It's a book that assists the reader in creative exploration. We're all creative, right? But maybe we haven't tapped into what that looks like in our lives, or maybe we haven't called it that. So the subscription boxes are a monthly box, and they're designed, the first month your box includes the book Waking Up Gray, and then some other goodies, but it's designed for each month you get a box based around whatever chapter you're in. So chapter 1 is box 1, and it has contents related to chapter 1 of the book, and so forth. So I wanted to give you a sneak peek because I know I really struggled with, do I want to surprise people and not tell you what's in the box, or do I want to reveal what's in the box? And I don't know where I've landed on that. And I also understand that it feels a little clandestine, a little secretive or cryptic. I'm not trying to be that way, but I don't want to ruin any surprises for you. And I just want to, I want it to be supportive to your journey. But so this is to give you a little bit of a sneak peek about what's in the first box. So I've got these panels here that I've in the first box. I include an encaustic piece of art that's made by me here in my studio. And they're based off of my logo. So I have a red bird, and the name of my business is Fly Forward. So it's this idea. Victor Hugo pens it in his beautiful book called Les Mis. Les Miserables. There are so many different renditions of it, but Victor Hugo writes, there is suffering in the light, and excess burns. Flame is hostile to the wing, but to burn and yet to fly. That is the miracle of genius. And I've always, I think I gasped out loud when I read that in his book. And I marked the page and I memorized that line. And it kind of became the idea behind Fly Forward. And what I want for people who go through my groups, my material, my workshops is it is hard to put yourself out there and express yourself creatively and put it out into the world. We all know that the world can be a cruel place, especially to creatives who are expressing themselves. But to burn and yet to fly, to suffer in that, to offer out your offering, to continue to do that is the miracle of genius. So we keep doing it, whether it's received well, whether it's not received well, we keep doing it because we have to. And so the red bird has symbolized that burning and flying. And I was doing some research on the red bird, in particular the cardinal. The cardinal is symbolic for a hinge. So the idea is that there's a hinge. You think about a door and how it's a pathway, a threshold. And the hinge is what is the catalyst between two worlds, the spiritual world and the physical world. So as people who put their creative expressions out into the world, we are telling the world something about our spiritual experience, perhaps. And always, it really always is, whether it's overt or covert, we are expressing what we are experiencing creatively and spiritually between myself and God. So the red bird felt very important in terms of, we're being a hinge as artists, whether your artistry stays in your home or goes out into the larger world. We're hinges. So anyway, that's kind of where the bird came from. So everybody in the first box gets a piece of encaustic art made by me. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of my process. So I've glued all of these things down. This bird motif actually was inspired by a vintage piece of wallpaper that I saw. I think wallpaper from the 30s. It was very trees and branches and birds flying in the branches and, in the middle of flight. And I loved this wallpaper, and I just sort of carried this flying bird into that as kind of just that, just my inspiration for this little guy. So what I've done, I have a wood shop behind me. You can see my wood shop. I cut my own panels. These are wood panels. Yucca board, which is just very hard compressed wood. I prepare the surface, sand it down, gesso it. In this instance, I've glued some paper, some old paper. I I treat it with some of these guys. This is one of my favorite things. These pastel color sticks. They're chalk. They're not oils. They're just powdery chalk pastels. You can kind of see the green in here. And then, sanded it down. I love old wallpaper, vintage wallpaper. So while this paper is new, I wanted it to look like it's been through some things, maybe has some stories to tell. And then I've got the fabric bird. I glued all of this stuff on, and now I'm ready to put a layer of encaustic over the top of it. So encaustic, I make my own encaustic medium. It is beeswax, like 9 parts beeswax to 2 parts damar resin. Damar resin comes from a tree. And I melt it all down and I pour it into muffin tins. And so I get these cakes, and I spend a day in the studio making these cakes when I run low. So yeah, I melt the ingredients down and then pour them into muffin tins and let them dry. So the cakes go into this that I showed you earlier. It's just a bread loaf, so that it can stay separate from the other things that I do on my griddle, which is, my griddle is a paint palette, so I can mix encaustic paints directly onto the griddle. But I have this where it doesn't get contaminated with any paint or anything. It's just pure medium. So I'm going to take my pure medium, and I'm just going to put a layer of medium over the top of this. Okay, and so the other reason I wanted you to have a sneak peek, I also wanted to introduce you a little bit to this amazing medium called encaustic. And as you can see, I'm just painting. It's molten, and so it just glides over the surface. I'm just painting with liquid. And so I'm going to be offering out a quarterly encaustic box, which will include, I will include your medium, everything you need to get started, really. Your medium, the brushes that you need to use with the encaustic medium need to be natural. They can't be synthetic because they can't take the heat. So I'll provide you with the paint brushes, the medium, the panels. I'll cut you assorted size panels. Okay, so I've covered this whole piece in encaustic medium, taking great care to kind of make sure that the edges, which are a little precarious, that the edges are covered well. So the next thing I'm going to do is fuse that. And what I mean by that is I'm going to take a heat gun and just run it across the surface and heat that wax up. So what'll happen is the layer underneath will come up into the wax. Right now they're 2 separate layers, but heating them, fusing them, the bottom layer will come up into the wax and they'll become 1 layer. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. It might be a little loud. I don't know. I've got this on low. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm just kind of waiting for a sheen to glide over the surface. You don't need to keep that heat on there for very long. All you're doing is fusing these together, and I don't know if you can see the sheen, but I'm just gliding it across until I see a sheen, and then I'm moving on. If you leave the heat on too long anywhere, it can create these craters. And unless you're going for that look, which you might want to, you just want to keep moving on. There. So I fuse that, and the next thing I'll do from here, once this cools off, this is too hot right now, but once it gets back down to, it can be a little bit warm, I take this loop tool. Now this is a pottery tool. Any place that sells pottery tools, I Actually, Hobby Lobby has these. Michael's, I think, has these. And then Plaza downtown, if you're local to Nashville, Plaza always has these. And Jerry's Artorama, you can probably order it online through Jerry's or Old Trek or the online art supply stores. They're not hard to find. But if you subscribe to my quarterly Encaustic box, I will include one of these because this is a tool you really have to have if you're going to be doing encaustic. So I just kind of see how that's like, it's kind of messy. You can see the layers. So once this is cooled off a little bit, it's almost there. It's almost ready. I'm going to take this loop tool and scrape away the excess medium. Yeah. So, so I wanted to get you, everybody who's subscribing to the Waking Up Gray subscription box is getting one of these, whatever that looks like. Now, all of them are different. Obviously, I'm hand making these. They're not manufactured. They're not mass produced. So they're all going to be different, which is the fun of handmade items. And you get one of these in your box along with the book and a few other surprises I'm not going to tell you about. But I also wanted to introduce you to Encaustic and let you know that I am going to be offering a quarterly subscription. And then this Sunday, okay, so today is Sunday, May 23rd. So Sunday, May 30th, in a week from today, from 3 to 7, if you're local to Nashville, I'm going to be having an open house at my house here in Franklin. We're going to have some really fun cocktails. My friend and mixologist is going to help me out with that. Some light snacks. I will have one-time boxes available for the Waking Up Gray subscription. So if it's intriguing at all to you, but you're not sure, you can purchase the first box from me with no obligation whatsoever. And then if you decide that you want to continue on that journey, you can sign up for the next, you can sign up for a subscription box. But if you're not sure and you want to check it out, it's a good way to buy the first box and decide if that's something you want to continue. Also, if you're already subscribed, you can come by and pick up month number 2 of the subscription box. And I'm so excited about the second month. It's such a good box, and I'm so excited. And then also, I wanted to let you know that my Facebook page, I'm going to go live once a week on my Facebook page to share things similar to this video. It's going to be around what are in the subscription boxes, some tips, some techniques, some encouragement, some exercises, some mindfulness exercises, some writing exercises, some journal exercises, maybe some journal prompts, some techniques about what you might want to try in your journal, all kinds of things. It's just going to be anything and everything. It's going to be a way that I can interact with you and you can interact with me. If you have questions, I can try to answer them. If I have questions for you because I want to know how to serve you, I'm a resource for you. It's a good time to have some interactions together as a community. So every Thursday, 3 o'clock p.m., tune into my Facebook page. You can find me at Jenny Schutt, JennieSchut. That's my Facebook public page. And that's where I will be going live. Join me. I'd really love to see you there. And we can talk all things creative, things spiritual, things about life, the great things, the celebrations, the wins, the setbacks, the hard things, all of that, welcome. Okay, so this has gotten to a place where I can start scraping it. So I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this? I'm going to move this back a little bit and this forward. So I just take my loop tool and I just start from the center and I just start scraping some of this extra, just cleaning it up a little bit. And that's probably going to be all that I do for these. They're ready to hang. I'll put a sawtooth hanger on the back so when you get them, you can just take it out of the box and hang it right on your wall. But I'm really excited about Encaustic. It's one of my favorite things to share with people. It's the funnest medium ever. It's a great way if you're looking for a place that you can just play, not worry about the results, but just have an outlet to create without feeling like you have to come up with something or be on. This is a great way to play. So I highly encourage it. I highly recommend it. And for me, it's a safe place to play. And I love giving it away because I've seen people over and over and over again. They're like, I'm not creative. I don't know if I can do this. And yes, they find out by the end of playing with this medium, yes, you can. They can. You can. And I'm excited to share the journey with you. So give me a shout out. Follow me on Facebook, Jenny Scutt. On Instagram at Jenny Scutt. And my website is flyforwardstudio.com. Visit me. Give me a shout out. Let me know you're here, and I will reach out to you. Thank you so much.